Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're going to be taking a look at PGA Tour 2K21 on the Nintendo Switch. Gotta say, it's been a while since we've seen a truly dedicated golf simulator, and it's the first ever one to join the Nintendo Switch. So how does it play, and is it worth your time? Gotta tell you, I was a big fan of the EA golf games, same with the Golf Club series too, so I've been looking forward to this one for some time. There's just something addictive about the gameplay I can't quite get my head around, but I've loved them since PGA Tour back in the day on the Mega Drive. So with that, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and let's get started. So gameplay on this one, it's coming from HB Studios. Following EA's kind of drop out of the golf game market, they very much picked up the mantle. They delivered the Golf Club around the same time as Rory McIlroy, and then they followed that up with the Golf Club 2 and then Golf Club 2019. 2019, that was the first attempt at licensed courses and saw them actually brand the mighty PGA Tour logo on the cover. Now the reason I'm telling you all this one is very much an extension of that. It's HB Studios under the 2K branding. I loved every single entry in the Golf Club series, as challenging as they were, and I've been waiting for this one for some time. So gameplay, and we're getting the stick swing system here, meaning you pull the left stick or right stick backwards for that backswing, you wait for it to hit the correct percentage you want for power, and then you swing that stick up at the point for a strike. The smoother the motion, the better the speed, and then the angle of your upwards motion also impacts the golf ball's trajectory. It sounds simple, but it's actually a lot deeper than you may expect, providing honestly some serious challenge, especially when it comes to nailing the speed portion of the process. So alongside this, then we do get, of course, club selection, shot types, as well as, of course, full flexibility over where we aim, the power we want, and even adding things like intentional spin, slice, and hook. I will say though, misjudging things like the speed of the downward swing, that's going to result in a whole lot of slicing and hooking. Here though, I'm kind of old school. I wish, I will say, it had different swing mechanics, this being the only one on offer. I don't know if anyone is with me here, but I was kind of born and raised on the 3-click system. So first click to start, second to choose power, and then third to choose accuracy. I know it's not as involved as methods go, but I do think it has its uses. The Switch, at the end of the day, it's portable, so when playing on travels, smooth swings are not always a possibility. Let's say you're sitting in the car or something like that. It's a bit of a weird comment, but I think it would have honestly benefited the portability of the console just to include it. So if you are new to HB Studios, well, they've made some great golf games over the year. I think it's fair to say their accessibility was for sure lacking, always providing just an incredible challenge while doing very little to really ease in newcomers. Here though, I'm happy to say they've built the most accessible entry yet. The opening tutorial, I gotta say, lasts 10 minutes, but it's really good. It takes you through pretty much everything you need to get started, kind of then concluding with showing you the 3 different difficulty options, and these, they can impact different factors like weather, spin change, and so on. Then though, you can even get deeper into the menus and actually choose what assists you have and don't. It feels like everything here can be tweaked for balancing, and that's something that's always good to see. Basically, beginners, you're welcome to join for a round, and then pros, you're going to find that same stiff challenge you're very much used to from HB Studios. It's completely optional. So modes then on HB have always done good here, and this year is no different. Gameplay, first off, we get the usual, local play, so you can play with friends, AI opponents, or solo. Here as well, expect to see different play modes as well, so you can do the usual, round, but you can also do things like skins and scramble. That's a really nice touch to have those options. Then we get online play if you really want to, test your skills, though I've got to say it's kind of disappointing here to see no crossplay. Switch isn't famous for its online community, so I'm not sure how this will all fare. The big stuff though, the modes we're all here for: PGA Tour Career Mode and My Player. It's just that, basically, design a golfer and work your way through a career on the tour. Now thankfully, if you don't yet feel up to that challenge taking on the pros, you can also start with Q School, the Corn Ferry Tour, or the Corn Ferry Tour Championship. Basically, these are professional tours where you must earn your PGA Tour card first. With the PGA Tour and the My Player mode though, you can expect to be working your way through a 33 offense schedule. Here as well, you'll not just be fighting to win after all is said and done, but working alongside things like sponsors and completing, goals, setting course achievements, taking on challenges, and even facing off against rivals. Rounding out modes then, most impressively, there's 2 for me. Society's first up, which at this point couldn't really test due to a lack of online players pre-release, but this is a carryover from the Golf Club, and I used to love this. Basically, you join groups of players online and you take on like these daily challenges where you all face the same course and go for that best score. It's simple, but it adds a seriously like competitive feeling to the whole experience, seeing your name in this like live leaderboard, even if I did nearly always get crushed myself. The final piece then, another carryover from the golf club, a course creator, and here you can basically build the course of your dreams and then publish and share it online. While online play is not crossplay, I'm happy to say here these courses are, so this could literally be an endless experience and you will find some really like weird and wonderful creations out there. It's kind of what happens when you give people, power. Outside of this then, to kind of wrap up the package, we've got officially licensed courses. You can expect to find 15 of them, 11 licensed golfers, and then some like official sponsors for the gear you'll be using. The gameplay overall is great fun, controls are tight, there's a wealth of modes to choose from, and as I say honestly, outside of maybe a few additional swing types, there's very little I can complain about. That said though, I'm gonna complain. There is some slowdown and frame rate drops that are noticeable, but it's worth knowing these are always during like the more cinematic moments of the gameplay and not in the swing itself or the player controlled moments. So honestly, it didn't really bother me too much. Then, and this one's a bit more of a pain, the menus, gotta say, they are overcomplicated. They've gone for like this sleek and stylish look. I just found it a little difficult to find my way around them, honestly, figuring out where to look for what I needed. Once I got it, it was relatively okay, but there's a whole lot of like buttons and hidden menus. Here I kind of felt like I was stumbling across things rather than, intentionally finding them. The trade-off though, like, want lots of options, guess you need lots of menus, but it could do with some fine-tuning. I'm impressed with PGA Tour 2K21 and it's something I've wanted on the Switch now for a while. If we could get Formula 1 next, consider me a very happy guy. That said, look, gameplay may be good, but let's now talk about graphics. Alright, so off the bat, the graphics are okay, but you'll need to compromise here. You must know that going into this, they're pretty demanding games. If you're expecting TV-like presentation from the Switch build, you're gonna be disappointed. It's not that it's bad, honestly, it's just, well, rough around the edges. First, the golfer models, I like what we get. The animations are solid, the sponsors we do get seem spot on, if somewhat limited in design. And yeah, generally they do their job. It's really the course where we start to see the seams come undone though. The graphics, for the most, I am still impressed. Sure, there's like blur, pixelation here and there, but it is, for the most part, from a distance at least, solid looking. And I can't say I've played most of these courses, but I can say I have played TPC Scottsdale, and they've done a decent representation here of that course, so I imagine it's the same for each and every one. The problem though for me is, on taking your shot, as you do that like tracking, following the ball, you're going to see all sorts of popping from like trees to some seriously at times like glitchy shadows that seem to kind of jump in and out, especially on the character models. It's not the worst, but it's definitely there and you're definitely going to notice it. Then look outside the courses themselves and you're basically going to see like barren landscapes, some post-apocalyptic like Mad Max style of environment. It doesn't impact the gameplay, but still it'd be nice to kind of see a little bit more effort here. Sadly as well, while the other builds of this game do include, crowds and big ones at that, the Switch version, this has been removed and I presume it is, like a performance mission. Now in gameplay I did mention some frame rate issues as well in those cinematic moments. If you do want to smooth them out in graphics, you can turn off anti-aliasing, but just know this seriously downgrades the visuals. For me personally, it was too much of a trade-off, but check it out for yourself, see if it's for you. So audio then, not a lot to say honestly. Some commentary that's minimal, which to me is honestly a good thing because it does start to repeat itself relatively quickly. Then some suitably PGA music, meaning it's falling somewhere between like very light electronic, a little bit of classical, and it's elevator music, and that's really about it. There's a little bit of weather in here, there's a little bit of like the ball being struck, and yeah, that's about it. I'm not sure really how much you expected from a golf game, but there's very little else they can do. Crowd noises, they of course would have been appreciated, building up the environment, but given the fact crowds were removed from the Switch build, it's not surprising to see the sounds not here too. So the final verdict on PGA Tour 2K21, it's joining the Switch, and for the most part, in my opinion, it's a respectable build of the game. While it may, make compromises, especially on the visual front, and have a few rough edges, it does still deliver on the gameplay front, which is really where, for an experience like this, it counts. I wish that the game overall had more courses, had more championships, had more golfers, but you know what, this is a starting point, and I'm excited now just to see where they can take the series next. Hopefully it can find a footing though with the Switch community, especially online, because for me, that very much is where these games are best enjoyed. If it doesn't, then expect to find me working my way through the good, the bad and the ugly of the custom course creation world. It's a very strange place. Today I'm going to be giving PGA Tour 2K21 a good 7 out of 10. As much fun as I'm having, it's not without its issues. If you don't care too much about graphics or the odd bit of, mainly cinematic focus slowdown like myself, you can honestly probably bump this to an 8. That's kind of where I feel I'm at with it in my head. With that though, like a shout out to the patrons for going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It truly is appreciated and it helps more than you know. If you do want to check that out for yourself, it is linked in the video description down below. With that then, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.